Sadaqallahu Azim, Jazakallah. My dear brothers and sisters, you are listening Radio Dawn. And Radio Dawn is part of Premier Institute, which located at Mary West. So today we reflect upon the beautiful word of Allah. I am your host and Sister Zohra, today's guest. And today we will journey through one of the most powerful chapters of the Surah Al-Qiyamah. So, Surah reminds us the day every soul will stand before Allah. Because the heart shakes, the conscience and calls us toward sincere reflection. Patience. Sister Zuhra, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah,
Are you
Alhamdulillah,
enjoying the weather?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. We often say this phrase with our friends, trying to learn Arabic, and we say that Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yesterday, one of my friend
All
was
praise
telling,
and thanks be to
w-
Allah
w-
in any situation, in any
yeah,
situation. Yeah. It's just the weather. It's supposed to be summer, and literally
mm,
my whole family have got had flu, cold. It's ridiculous. But Alhamdulillah, like you said,
yes,
whatever situation we find ourselves in, whatever weather.
yesterday one of my friend was telling me that I'm expecting summer for last 2 months. I said, no, not you. Everybody, morning time it's okay, afternoon it's okay, and evening time again winter. So
Yeah,
the people,
exactly. But, like this morning, it's just and I've got these trees outside my house, and I can see it's like the clouds are it's really grey, drizzly. The leaves look very unhappy. The trees are not happy because everybody could do with a bit of sunshine, isn't it? So, yeah,
everybody is looking sunshine, and sunshine is back home Pakistan or in
yeah.
Egypt or Tunisia if you want to travel. So how is going exams? A lot of parents they are worried about their exams, likewise me and you as well. So
Yeah.
uh,
I
GCSE
think the
exam,
parents get more worried than the kids, to be honest.
that's exactly what actually I was trying to tell the other day, my listeners as well. So when we were studying in GCSE, oh dear, even that lot of exams. During exam, I have never ever done my breakfast. Like that after exam, uh, uh, if there is something I have to eat, then I have eaten that thing. Otherwise, that in morning time I could not eat anything. So, but these days, the kids, they don't even bother about that. They are not, that you can see on their face that if they are pressure, and sometimes pressure is very important, isn't it? What do you think?
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like having that conscientiousness and that desire to sort of like progress and do well and take it seriously. Um, so yeah, I think these days, to be honest with you, I think with the amount of resources that are out there to support the kids now, it's kind of really no excuse. But it's sad because I think kids are still kids, bless them. And, there's still a lot of young people who don't realize how to manage all these resources. And I think that's where, as a parent, you can really help massively in the GCSEs and, or any exam really. You can really help to, try and manage some of the learning resources that are out there and try and get them relevant information fast, and just help navigate the process because I think kids actually do get really stressed. They perhaps don't look like they're stressed, but I think they are very stressed, really.
And another thing, that they are not. punctual and regular in their studies, so they don't bother about. So what is the reason? Do you think that they think that they don't need to worry about that? So as I mentioned, that during my studies I experienced immense pressure and stress. At times, that I was so overwhelmed that even we could not even have, that breakfast or any kind of the gathering. That we are not allowed to go to the gathering. We are not allowed to watch TV. We are not allowed to play games. But these days, however, many children seem far less worried and do not take things as seriously. And study is not their serious business, isn't it? What do you think?
Yes, the thing is, I do think it's important for the brain to take breaks. I think you probably learn better that way because I think sometimes, long periods of sustained pressure are also, I mean, I think they do develop you and stuff like that. But I think likewise now we know more about the brain and we know more about how, how it all works and stuff. And I think actually sometimes you could do just as much, if you have intense small shorter periods, but then you also allow your brain to switch off and, just relax a little bit. I think it's a healthier approach, I think. But I guess what you're basically perhaps driving at is the drive, the motivation, which a lot of young people perhaps, um, we could say maybe they don't have that as strong as, people that maybe come from societies or from, you know, um, classes of society where they kind of, feel that strong imperative to study. I don't think that's always there with kids. But can you blame them though? Because there's so many distractions for them, isn't there? As well. There's continuous social media. Forget the social media, even just like having, internet. You could just go anywhere, and it's fantastic. But for kids, it's I suppose a bit difficult to navigate and to balance. And then babies and all of this. It's a great environment, really. The healthiest environment. I think perhaps you touched on something here, and perhaps government, should actually put the education department should actually put much more emphasis into, getting kids to connect their soul or their heart or their conscience, if you like, with learning. Why are we learning? The value of learning, and how important it is,
And,
So
and this is responsibility for parents. The parents are listening at the moment, and you know if the kids are not taking the responsibility, so I'm just trying to uh, elaborate things more about. There is an incredible thin line between pressure and responsibility. Most of the parents, they took even responsibility, but a lot of parents, they don't even bother about their exams. And particularly I'm talking about our Asian parents, and father particularly. That I think that there is a very important role, uh, not only mother, because mother, what actually I observed during my studies, because my father was a bit strict. He never, that like in Pakistan, uh, uh, lot of parents, they use some physical things, but that never use that. But he was uh, he was responsible person. And I think that between pressure and responsibility, because responsibility motivates students to work hard. Parents, if they are going to take the responsibility, so it motivates that their kids to work hard, stay disciplined, and achieve their goals. For example, if the kids, sister Zohra, they are sitting in front of game, they are playing game, uh, it doesn't mean that we are going to pressurize them. We need to tell them, oh no putter, उन्हें time नहीं है game खेलने का. Go and study. So what do you think?
you know what, I think you've touched on a huge issue here. I wish that we had more time to explore this, and I hope that inshallah you will perhaps think of dedicating much more time to this on your shows. But I think the issue of young people and the lethargy that they often feel towards this study, the lack of motivation generally, like you said, it's a huge responsibility of the parents, but it leads very nicely into what to the surah that you are discussing today, Surah Qiyamah, and where Allah Subhanahu wa Taala swears by the nafs al-lawama. I'm just going to connect the two things because okay, so you've got parents who get very, very, very uptight and very you know focused and strict about their kids achieving in this dunya and putting pressure on kids. I've seen parents by who had their children in private lessons from day dot kind of thing, from a very young age. It's very admirable that the sort of they sustain that kind of um, focus on studying and on achieving in the dunya. But as we know, for us, Allah subhanahu has He swears in this surah, by Nasr al by the end of time, by the accountability, the day of accounting. Um, that for me, what's that saying is the self-reproaching soul is the nafs al right? So we've got a duty of care to also develop in our children the conscience that you need to navigate the spiritual your spiritual journey throughout this life. So I think a lot of parents are very guilty. I'm sorry to say this, of just as much parents are guilty of being a bit, too easy and too relaxed, but there's other parents who seem to be just obsessed or, singularly focused on the study side of things. And I think that creates an imbalance in young people, quite frankly. I think we have a huge responsibility to teach them that they are accountable for everything, that this life, we are going to have to account for everything that we have done. This is what a believer's state is, that we are constantly wrestling or should be wrestling and questioning our conscience at all times, so that we are producing young people. If we develop this kind of capacity in them, hopefully by what we're doing is not just developing the material instinct to survive and do well in this dunya, but also we're developing all those other beautiful qualities that you need. And above all, what you need is that quality of nafs al-lawama, the self-reproach, the questioning of the self, of your intention. Am I kind enough? Am I good enough? The way I just spoke to my friend, was it kind? Was it just? Am I, feeding my intellect enough? Am I being sincere with my studies? Who am I doing these studies for? How is it going to help me? But also, how is it going to help my soul? You know, so if you see what I'm saying, Guy, I mean, to sum it up, and I'm sorry to be so long-winded, but I think just as we focus on the material side, and as I said, I've seen so many parents literally obsessed, but I don't see them sort of like developing that other side of, which is so crucial to our deen, which is that, that capacity to question, that capacity to, make your intellect constantly turn in on itself and look at what your spiritual activity is doing, what your, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Beshak, 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 and Sister Zora, mashallah, wonderful thoughts. And we are heading for a very short break, and don't go anywhere. Stand tuned because the conversation is about to get even more exciting and powerful about Suratul Qiyamah, inshallah. So stay tuned with Radio Dawn 107.6 FM.
This is Radio Dawn 107.6 FM.
میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے. بندہ یہ ناتمام جی کا قرار مل گیا مجھ کو میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے. دل کی اداس راہیں بھی لیتی تھی کروٹیں. دل کی اداس راہیں بھی لیتی تھی کروٹیں. روشن ہوئی ہے آج ویرانیاں تمام جی کا قرار مل گیا مجھ کو میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے. روح جس کی تھی تلاش میں وہ راہ مل گئی. بھٹکے ہوئے نصیب کو منزل یہ مل گئی. روح جس کی تھی تلاش میں وہ راہ مل گئی. بھٹکے ہوئے نصیب کو منزل یہ مل گئی. جی کا قرار مل گیا مجھ کو میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے. اجلے ہوئے دن میری راتیں نکھر گئیں. اجلے ہوئے دن میرے راتیں نکھر گئیں. پاکے یہ راہ حق میری باتیں سنور گئیں. جی کا قرار مل گیا مجھ کو میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے. بندہ یہ ناتمام جی کا قرار مل گیا مجھ کو میرے خدا سجدے میں گر پڑا ہے.
علیمان منست منم غلام علی. علیمان منست منم غلام علی. ہزار جان گرامی فدائے نام علی. من کنت مولا من کنت مولا علی مولا علی مولا علی مولا من كنت مولاي لي مولاي لي مولاي لي مولا من
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back. So, dear listeners, many people ask how will people be brought back to life after death, and this is very important question. Lot of people, lot of atheists, and lot of modern people they ask this question, and how will people brought back to life after death? Allah answers clearly in this surah: the one who created us first time can certainly recreate us again. So sometimes we become distracted by dunya, work, entertainment, social media, wealth, and we forget ultimate destination. Sister Zohra, can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. I think that Sister Zohra will join us again in a bit. So imagine the scene described: the eyes staring in terror, the moon darkened, and the sun and moon brought together, humanity searching for escape, and therefore there is no refuge. So may Allah give us tawfiq to understand this true meaning of being Muslim.